Okay, so I have something that I want to share with you guys. It's something that has definitely been at the back of my mind for a long time. It's quite personal. So if you're listening to this episode right now, I'm sure in some way that you likely will relate, and it may not be the exact same situation. However, I trust that whatever I share with you today will be applicable for your own life, that will help you get through times that feel extremely uncertain. I've been sitting in uncertainty for a few years, actually. And this is because 3 years ago, I moved to London. And it was a leap of faith into the unknown, trusting my heart and my intuition that London was exactly where I needed to be. Now, I've done countless episodes on why I moved to London, which you can definitely go check out. This is not what this episode is about today. And although London has had those challenging times and experiences, it has been so perfect for me in terms of I made the right decision, and I'm so proud that I trusted myself and followed my intuition to be here. Now in life, right, these things that are here and put in place to keep us safe are things like having a visa. Now, for where I'm currently at, my next steps for when my current visa ends has always been at the back of my mind for the past couple of years. And this has created a lot of uncertainty, especially because it's like, okay, what do I want to do next? Do I want to continue staying here, or is it time to move on? And guys, the answer has been so unclear. For someone who can easily sit in meditation and trust my intuition to guide me, I have felt so blocked. At the start of all this, maybe a year ago, I was also seeing someone, and that certainty was required for a relationship, right? Your partner needs to know where you're going to be, especially if you're not staying in the country they will be in. So this put a lot of pressure on me and that relationship for both of us. So I was also experiencing that. And at the same time, trusting that clarity will come when push comes to shove. And I know that everything is always working out in divine timing in a way that is always surprising me in a beautiful way. Everything that I teach on this show, to recap, especially if this is like a very new episode for you, new show for you to listen into, and you haven't listened to any of my other episodes yet, a lot of my philosophy on life and perspective is about seeing the bright side of things and understanding how you play a role in the reality that you experience. Every single person has their own perspective of the world. This is called, in neurolinguistic programming, your model of the world. And your model of the world is shaped off your beliefs and personality and past experiences, your values. So the way that I see the world is very much different to some people and also similar. If you didn't share similar values to me, it's unlikely that you would even find my podcast, because if you value growth and personal development, spirituality, if you value meditation and health, then likely you found my podcast for that very reason. But if you did not value these things, we probably wouldn't find each other in this life. And that is how I see the world. Now, what I talk about often is manifestation and elevating your energy, right? This podcast, it's called Generation Elevation. And the philosophy behind that is a community that is high vibrational, which means a community that is uplifting when you're around them, inspiring, that makes you feel like once you put your mind to something, you can do anything. You get to choose the life that you live through your actions, your thoughts, your behaviors. And if you are seeing or experiencing something that you don't like, that it's really bothering you and your model of the world, then you can change it by looking at how you play a role in that thing coming to your life, because you attract who you are, not what you want, who you are. So if you keep repeating, for example, toxic cycles, or you keep having these certain types of people come into your life that really break your heart or that aren't aligning with you anymore, then it's to look at why you keep attracting them and to be meeting each adversity with curiosity rather than hatred or judgment, to understand that your perception is projection. And if you are seeing or perceiving something that feels uncomfortable, that feels not right for you, then it's to understand what is it that you're projecting onto that situation that could potentially change if need be. Now, obviously, if you were to play devil's advocate here, there are examples where this does not apply, right? This isn't gospel. This isn't the rule book, but it's a guide. And I'm here to share that perspective with you in the hope that maybe you can also model this behavior to help your life feel more aligned for you, right? This is an important piece of today's episodes because I'm going to be sharing about how to stay calm amidst uncertainty. And this could apply for uncertainty in your own life. For example, for me, it's uncertainty about what the heck is going to happen with my visa. Am I going to get a new one? Am I going to stay in London? Am I moving? Do I need to let my housemate know? I don't really know what's going on. Am I going back to Australia? Who knows? But also there's uncertainty in the whole entire collective with talks of World War III and talks of this fear-mongering things that are all happening around the world that, for me, I choose not to so much focus on that because I know that that is out of my control. However, there is a lot of uncertainty that for others can be quite triggering and bothering them because they might have their families involved in these sorts of situations too. So there's lots of uncertainty right now. And you know what? Something came up on my feed the other day of two experts in the psychology field talking about this exact topic. And usually I kind of flick through these things because for me, like I was just not really interested in what they were saying usually. But for some reason, I stayed on this post. And for me, like I don't like to consume too much of what everyone else is saying. I like to have my own voice and I like to jump on this show and come from my own unique perspective without sharing what other people say. However, I'm going to share what other people have said because I thought this was really relevant and this post caught my attention. They were speaking on uncertainty and the post was just saying that uncertainty is a part of life, that the way to deal with uncertainty is to accept the fact that it's always, always, always going to be there. And I kind of sat back for a second and thought to myself, yeah, I feel like us humans are always trying to solve this problem of feeling uncertain about what's going to happen next. But the truth is, we can never truly know. Are you a person that when you open a book, you jump right to the end? Are you a person that before even watching the first episode of a show, you watch the last one? Or you skip to the end of the movie? It's very unlikely. it's very unlikely that you do that. And so why do we feel that we must do that in our very own lives? The feeling of needing to figure out what's happening next, it comes from a place of scarcity, of protection. It is our fight or flight coming into alert because it's trying to protect us. Our brain is trying to protect us. So resolving the problem of uncertainty feels like creating safety. However, I'm going to share with you something a mentor once told me years and years ago. And as I had this call with her, she said to me, Elise, you are so good at getting everything you want, right? When you set a goal, you achieve it, you write it down, you manifest it, and it's so easy for you. But if you keep doing that your entire life, you will get all the things that you write down and script in your book. But you also leave no room for spontaneity or surprise, or to be shown that outside of that box that you live in, there is so much more to be experienced that you don't even know exists yet. And that magic lies in uncertainty. The magic of life lies in the unknown. That is what Joe Dispenza talks about. However, so often we judge the unknown as something that is scary, that can bring us harm. And so a year ago, I was so worried about what was going to happen when my visa would expire here in London. What am I going to do? And last year in December, I spent the whole month back in Australia thinking, am I coming back here? Like, what's happening next? And I went through a breakup at the end of last year. So I knew that coming back to London, I wasn't coming back to a person. I was coming back to London. And is that where I wanted to be? Or was I just staying because of a person? Where is it that feels like home? And I didn't know. And this felt so scary. Coming into February, March of 2026, still don't really know what's going to happen next. I definitely have my days. However, I feel more at peace about this next chapter. I have done a podcast before on the gap, and the gap, I mean the space between the old self and the new. And some of you may be experiencing this right now, whereby you cannot go back to who you once were, but you're not necessarily yet the person who you will be. And so you're in this weird gap, liminal space where you're so close, and maybe you're feeling a bit impatient, needing to know the answer right now, and getting frustrated when you cannot. I found myself the other day wishing that I knew the answer already so I could just relax about it. But then I caught myself and I said if I kept getting everything I want and all the answers right when I wanted them, it's like I'm hop, skipping and jumping straight through my life, which means I'd get to the end of it pretty quickly. Life is not meant to be for achieving each goal and then the next and then the next and then the next. It's not necessarily about that. It's the livingness between each step, the human experience. And so what if right now in this gap, nothing's really going on? Could you just enjoy that? Could you just enjoy that space and time before that clarity appears. And it's usually when you can relax in that the clarity does come anyway. You cannot attract the answer when you are too busy focusing on the energy of the question. The solution will not come from this place when you are in the problem. So I have felt way more relaxed about this whole situation lately. And there are different pathways that are starting to become more clear and have started to show up. I still, however, do not have that dotted line answer yet. So today I'm going to share with you a couple of tips that I have for you specifically about how to stay calm when you're in the unknown. And these are the things that I've been doing to remain calm throughout this entire situation. So let's start with what you can control versus what you can't. This is what I keep reminding myself whenever I feel that slight panic or worry about the future come up. When you think about your current situation, I want you to think about the things right now that you can't control. Like, for example, a lot of people worry about the weather. However, we cannot control what the weather does. We cannot control how another person feels about us. I cannot control the traffic. However, what I can control is actually internal. I can control my thoughts, feelings, and actions. I can control how I think about the weather. Realizing that it's going to rain, it's going to be sunshine, it's going to be dark, it's going to be light at all different times of the year. And can I enjoy each individually in its own form? I can relax my body when I'm in traffic. I can leave earlier if I need to. I can show up as the best, most authentic version of myself, give it my all. And if somebody else doesn't appreciate that in the way that I need, that is okay. So let's have a look at what you can control in terms of your thoughts, right? When you start to feel your thoughts spiraling, this is what I do. When I'm controlling my thoughts, meditation becomes key. Meditation is a practice. It is training for your focus. It is getting to know yourself on a deeper level. So if you're finding that you're constantly panicking or you're constantly overthinking, meditation will be a key training ground practice for you. And no, meditation is not just sitting here and la 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 la. It's going to all be fluffy and bright and happy. Meditation is fucking hard. Meditation will piss you off because you're most likely so used to go to stop can be incredibly difficult and frustrating. And you will meet the parts of yourself that you have been running from, and it will be intense. But if you can get through that part, your focus will be so sharp, so precise that you can switch your thoughts around very quickly. And you will change the neuroplasticity in your brain to shape it and rewire it in a way that benefits you so you can perform at your best. You can increase your productivity. And if you're listening to this, I know that this would benefit you. I know you know that. So meditation is key for controlling your thoughts. This will help in turn with your focus and being able to switch your focus from something that may be catastrophic or worrying about the worst case scenario to focusing on best case scenario. Another thing that I use or tool when I need to control my thoughts is doing a brain dump or journaling my thoughts out onto paper, because if I have a problem in my head, trying to figure it out up there, it just gets too confusing. It feels too much. If I externalize it onto paper, it feels like I'm less attached to that thing. I am disassociating myself from my thoughts, and I can therefore look at them from a different perspective. So this would be my few tips on how to control your thoughts. In terms of controlling how you feel, this can be quite challenging. However, if you nail the controlling your thoughts part, then the feeling becomes easy. Usually the feeling follows a thought. So if you do not know how to control your thoughts, then it's likely you do not know how to control your feelings. If you are stuck in the feeling that is not serving you, come back to your breath. Take 10 deep breaths in and out, in and out. If you need to, come into a breathwork practice such as the Wim Hof or Tumo or holotropic or any sort of breath practice that can help you calm your nervous system. If you need help with that, I have multiple meditations and breathwork guided audios on my website that you can download. So go check that out in the links below. For the feeling, you can always ask your body what it's trying to tell you and allow space to actually feel what you feel. We live in such a fast-paced society that for most people, they don't even let themselves feel anything. They're just in autopilot robot mode, emotional withdrawal, because last time they went in the feels, potentially they got hurt. So if this is you, I want you to put some time in your calendar, block it out to just feel. And even if you don't feel anything, just ask your body, what's your energy like? If your body could speak to you, what would it say? If that emotion in your stomach, that anxiety could speak to you, what would it say? If that pain or niggle in your back and your shoulders could speak, what would it say? And this is a really great way of developing a deeper relationship with your feelings, which means you'll better be able to control them. Somatic practices as well is also helpful to release any stagnant emotions that are stuck in your body. So shaking, jumping around, dancing, doing like a scream into a pillow or out in the bush somewhere, or doing boxing or martial art, breath work are all really great ways of releasing energy and emotions. And lastly, your actions. For a really long time, I was very great at controlling the way that I thought, the way that I would feel. And then I would get frustrated when things weren't necessarily going my way. And it was because I was just hoping for things to work out, but not actually doing anything in the process either to make sure these things would happen, or that I was giving it my all. I know, but for my situation personally, that I want to get to the end of all this knowing that I've given everything my 100%, that I haven't half-assed it, I've given it my all. And if it still doesn't work out in the end, then at least I can say I gave it everything and it wasn't meant to be. Because rejection is just redirection. What is meant for you will not pass you by. And if it is meant for you, it will be easy. So what if this is just your initiation into something greater, something that is more aligned for you? So rather than asking yourself, like, what about the worst case scenario? I can't do anything. It's out of my control. Yeah, maybe it is, but what can you do? How can you put yourself in the best position to make sure that you give yourself the best possible chance at achieving your goals or getting to where you want to be? So for example, like at the moment, I'm doing everything I can to apply for a visa in different examples or different pathways. In a dating example, it could be, how can you show up for your partner in the best possible way? Maybe you feel like a breakup is coming, but you've also been treating that relationship like it's at its end rather than treating it like you had been at the very start, showing up and giving it your all. right? If you are at the end of your relationship and you can feel a breakup coming, I bet you can turn things around if you wanted to. So ask yourself, what can you do to fix or help or improve your situation? What can you control? And then going and actually taking action on that rather than just sitting and waiting for things to happen for you. If you do not take action, you hesitate and procrastinate, you will get left behind. So this is what you can control. And these things, controlling your thoughts, feelings, and actions, your internal self, will help you stay calm amidst any uncertainty that you may be experiencing right now. It will help give you that stability, because the only thing that can keep you truly stable or give you that sense of home is knowing that this is found within yourself, not through anything external. If you can be stable and strong within yourself, then whatever life throws at you, you will be able to remain calm and respond instead of react. And this is what I wish to gift to all of you today. So, to integrate the lesson of today's podcast, I want you to reflect on what that thing is in your life that's been causing uncertainty or decision that you need to make, but you don't know what to choose. I want you to reflect on what that specifically is right now for you. And then I want you to use one example from each tip that I gave today. So your thoughts, controlling your thoughts. Maybe it's applying meditation into your day. Then one from feelings. Maybe it is starting breathwork practice to help calm your nervous system and release emotions. And then action. What is one action that you can take today that will give you a better opportunity or improve your situation or more clarity in regards to what you're going through right now? If you can do all of these things, one thing from each, I guarantee you're going to start to feel more calm, and you will most likely start to feel more certain as well.